Cheers again.
Ooh, double cheers. Yeah, bio is always superior to just straight up poison, because the problem that Final Fantasy games tend to have is that status ailments on enemies are rarely useful. Particularly poison, because it takes time to deal its damage, and given enough rounds, it will inflict more damage than you could have done in that single turn with, say, fire or just a physical attack or something like that. But for regular enemies, you don't have that amount of time for that spell to pay its dividends. You only have that amount of time with a boss battle, but most bosses are immune to the majority of status ailments.
And so you just wasted a turn to test it out.
Yeah, you've just wasted a turn to test it out. Like, well, fuck. And then once you get accustomed to that, once you played enough Final Fantasies where bosses are just immune to status ailments, I don't even bother most of the time. And so it's always a surprise to me when I can actually afflict a boss with poison or slow or anything like that. Blind, silence, anything.
But what I like is when, let's say you have bio, which is a poison-based attack with a chance to poison. When a boss or any enemy has a weakness to poison, even if you don't inflict the status ailment, the fact that it's a like Pokemon, for instance, if something's just weak to poison, they just get fucked up by it, even if they don't get the poison on them.
Exactly. And that's how poison works in this one. It's just bio. Right? It does damage immediately, and then it has a chance to inflict poison and do damage over time. So I finally, in this playthrough, decided to try that out, and it does work on a number of bosses that I never realized because I didn't bother. You know, you try to cast the status ailment on a boss, and over again, it's like immune, no effect. Well, I'm not even going to waste that turn. I'm just going to get in and attack.
Dude, Red XIII mauls the fuck out of them. Like, that's not nothing. That's not licking. That's I'm mauling you. It's not even like Red XIII's just sitting there like growling, like you don't move or I'll eat you.
Yeah.
That's
If he'd mauled just a little bit harder, it would have saved everyone a lot of trouble in about 20 hours.
Yeah, what do you... Come on, Red. What are you doing?
Come on, just finish the job. Finish the job.
In Pokemon, what is the difference between, like, burn versus poison? I know poison happens each turn. How does burn work? Like,
there may not be a functional difference between them. It may just be that one is a poison element and the other is a fire element.
I see.
And so, since you're playing around with so many immunities, it gives you another way of dealing. Here's the thing. I forgot what I called Red XIII in my previous playthrough, the one that we're going to load up later. So he's going to have a different name here than he will in a few hours. For right now, for some reason, his name's going to be Bill Corden.
There's like Tifa and Clud.
And Aeris, and yeah, Bill Corden. Later on, he's going to be called Lightning.
Well, destiny is destiny. Unless it's Destiny 2.
Where we finally have faces.
Shady breath. That's weird.
Oh no, this breath offered to sell me some high-quality Pokemon cards, but I don't think they're legit.
It's got shifty eyes.
Hey, you can trust me, man.
And a tomato head with
I was gonna say, it has this weird fucking tomato head.
Thank you.
/ mouth.
Thank you, I am a monster.
By the way, you want to see one of George Clooney's earliest roles? You gotta watch Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that on DVD because for a while, back in 2006, you could buy these very nice collections of campy horror movies called 6-Packs of Horror. The box looked like a 6-pack of soda, and it came with 6 shitty movies in it.
That's amazing.
It's great. They don't sell them anymore. They might be available on Amazon somewhere.
I would love that.
Yeah, I loved it. I wish I'd held on to the packaging. I think I may have gotten the Elvira movie with one of them.
And then you're like, oh, okay, now I know where my boner for this type of woman comes from.
Oh, I think I've known that for a long time.
Yeah.
I've known that for a long time.
Elvira was just so immediately, like, attractive to me, like, right away.
It's just, wow, okay.
I like
spooky ladies.
I like that mermaid dress you got going on. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Oh, man, Elvira. She's great. She's still great.
Just such a beauty and a talent.
Like, really a talent, too.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, a thing you say so that you don't sound like such a horn dog when you say she's a beauty.
For real.
I gotta get her book that she put out last year. I was actually thinking about getting that as a gift for Jamie.
That'd be cool. She would love that.
Yeah, I thought so. Rihanna Magic! Hey. Overdose! Yeah, if you make you gotta use that as you gotta sample that in a song at some point. Oh, also, there's a Battle Beast song that samples a line from Duke Nukem.
Really?
Yeah, it's playing
just
for
gets cooler and cooler.
Yeah, they have multiple songs about Berserk across their albums. And then I'm listening to one of their songs, and the beginning just has like a long instrumental piece, and then right before she starts singing, you hear Duke Nukem say, "Come get some."
Yes, that's awesome.
I like stopped what I was doing and went, "What? Did I hear that right?
Was this band created just for me?"
I think so. I think they may have been.
Is this the Truman Show?
Am I being Truman Showed right now, Kurt? Have you been paid since you were 8 years old?
Blink twice if it's true.
I won't tell anyone. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, this mango cheesecake was awesome.
Looked awesome.
Kind of looks like egg yolk, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
You know what? I bet egg yolk on top of cheesecake would be pretty good.
Oh, man.
Like fresh hot egg yolk?
A warm egg yolk over like a nice, custard cheesecake. Just that slight. Have you ever had one of the egg tarts from like a Chinese bakery?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of when I think of this.
Yeah, that'd be real good.
So we just got the first enemy skill materia. There are 3 of them in this game. I never really bother with enemy skills. If I happen to, there are a couple that I like to get early on because they're very useful early. And there's one in the mid game that I'd like to get for one specific set of encounters, but otherwise, enemy skill magic is something I don't think they've ever really nailed down in this series.
I would love for them to really figure that out, because I always have thought blue magic and enemy skill was really cool, and I would just play with it because I thought it was fun, but it never paid off.
It very rarely pays off. There are often, amongst the blue magics available to you, it often ends up being that several of them are the most, some of the most useful abilities in the game. It's just acquiring them, knowing how to acquire them, is there's kind of just a wall there where it's like, well, I don't want to just have this equipped and go fight every possible enemy and just wait. And in this game, you have Manipulate Materia, which allows you to control the enemy, which is the only way to get certain enemy skills which are beneficial, like White Wind or Mighty Guard, because the enemy is never going to cast that on you, so you need to manipulate them. But again, I don't want to go through and manipulate every single enemy just to see if they have anything like that. And even if I had a list of the enemies that had it, well, I don't want to, run around, take the time it takes to encounter them, and if it's something I can manipulate, I don't want to deal with it. And sometimes it can be of varying, levels of difficulty to acquire that magic. Like in this one, you can just swap around the enemy skill materia. Maybe it'll just happen. Maybe an enemy will just cast Flamethrower on someone with it, and then you get it, and it's like, oh, that's nice. In 8, you have to get an item, and then have Quistis use that item, and then she has it, but then it's only part of her limit break. So you rarely ever get to use it because of how limit breaks work in that game. In 9, you have to have Quina eat the enemy. Yeah, so they have to be of a certain HP threshold, so it's very painful trying to get it in there. In 9, you just have to have Kimari use Lancet on an enemy who happens to have an ability. So that's fairly easy, but it's also his limit break, and so...
10, you mean 10.
10, sorry, yeah, 10. But it's also his limit break, so again, you're not going to get to use it all that often. Like, they keep flip-flopping between abilities being difficult to acquire or being hard to use. They never really... I think in 6 they did it the best, but unfortunately the only blue mage is Strago, who's not a good character.
Yeah. I always thought that the idea to make Zidane a thief was a bold move.
As the main character?
To make the main player character a thief, because it's always like a soldier of some kind.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if they put out a Final Fantasy? Maybe they tone it back with Final Fantasy 16. It's not so open world. Maybe it's a little bit more like 10.
Yeah.
And what if the main character was a blue mage? Like, that would be a bold fucking move.
That'd be great, because the main character, as it were, is they're almost always in your party. And so by making Zidane, I can't wait till we play 9. I can't fucking wait. I played that game last year. I'm already ready for another playthrough. But by making Zidane a thief, you have the steal ability all the time, right? Just from square one, the very first encounter you get into, you have steal, which is usually something that you don't get for a little... Either you don't get it for a little while, like in here you don't get a steal materia for quite a while, or it's an ability unique to a class or a character that you maybe don't want to use. Like, Locke is pretty useful in Final Fantasy VI. He's kind of a mid-level character. It's like, you can take him... You'll be giving up some stats. They're better characters stat-wise, but steal is pretty useful. And that makes up for a little bit. And so it's not the most difficult decision, but it is a choice that you have to make. Whereas with Zidane being your main character, you always have steal on you. You always have access to that. And so if you're just feeling frisky, you just be like, well, I'll just find out. Maybe this boss has something cool. Whereas there are many times in here, like if you're making a choice between materia early on, because you only have so many slots, you're saying to yourself, well, I could equip Steel, I could equip Sense, I could equip... And you're trying to make this choice, and it's like, how many enemies do I really steal from? Yeah. Let's be honest. I'm just... fuck it.
Is that one turn to get a potion worth it when they could possibly damage me more than what a potion's even worth?
Exactly. I'm not going to use this on the regular enemies I'm encountering, and most bosses don't have anything worth stealing. As it happens, every time you encounter the Turks after this, they have some very good stuff. But... that's later on. And so early on, you're primed to think, again, just like with status ailments, bosses don't have anything worth stealing. I'm not going to bother keeping steel equipped. Fuck it. Right? Once you level it up and it becomes mug, and you get you can get an attack in there, then it becomes worthwhile. Because then you're still doing an attack, and I don't think it's actually lowers the damage of your attack. But at the same time, you're unlikely to get it to that level because you haven't had it equipped the whole game, because it's of such limited utility.
They need to make a character that's like a thief that once you get to a certain level that every normal attack has a chance to steal.
Sometimes they do that.
That would be cool.
I think it may have been in 5, it may have been in 6, but I believe there was a weapon that when you attack with it, its basic attack is... It was in 5. There's a weapon where your basic attack is just mug. And it was useful. It's just that eventually, the damage increase... it's at a certain damage level, and as you progress through the game, suddenly that's not adequate. And so it falls by the wayside. But while it's relevant, it's very useful.
I like how they were able to get across the differences in just characters of... Aeris and Tifa here, like the way Tifa and Aeris were laying on the bed, like passing the time. Yeah, it shows so much different. Like Tifa's got this attitude. She's sitting there, got her legs crossed. She's like, like flicking her foot around, like this is fucking a waste of my time.
Tifa has a lot of pent up energy right now, and she's trying to think of a way out, or she doesn't seem to have as complete control of her emotions, whereas Aeris is sitting there kind of almost serene,
like, I'll just wait it out. There's nothing else to do.
Like she was captured once before, right? As a child, she may have actually been born in captivity. I think
this is Tuesday.
It's
hey.
What?
Oh, isn't that? Oh yeah, that's like a
yeah. When Bison came to your town, is those important moments.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I was thinking about that movie earlier today, and
I'm always thinking about Raul Julia.
I'm always thinking about Raul Julia. I have to agree. And I was thinking to myself, his performance doesn't save that movie, but his performances are worth watching from that movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like any scene with him in it is incredible. Like that famous bit where he's like, for me it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Where he covers up his eye and he's like, but you must not have seen that.
Yeah.
Fucking Raul Julia.
God, what a gem.
What a gem. What a talent taken from us too early.
God Damn it.
The world is a nightmare when people like Raul Julia just die fairly young.
Where's the timeline where he's still alive? I want that one.
We're in the darkest timeline, so again, just everyone who needs to be alive isn't.
There's just a timeline where like Raul Julia and like David Bowie
Yeah.
and Lemmy are like sitting around just like drinking and having a good time
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Where Prince didn't... Oh, man.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's like, what are you bitches doing? Here's the whiskey. And everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
Carrie.
Oh, man. Where Hillary is president.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, Donald Trump choked on a chicken wing 10 years ago. Did you hear that he gets a second bowl of sauce with dinner?
No.
I want to create a Twitter account where all it does is every day I tweet to real Donald Trump at Twitter a picture of that, you know, that particular picture where he has like this gross snarl on his face?
Yeah.
It's that, but it just says, "Give me the queen."
Give me the queen.
Exactly. Exactly. I just want to tweet that to him every day. And then try to remind him that a gentleman's tie should extend as far as his belt buckle. Your tie goes all the way down to your balls. Fix it.
It's not a subliminal message to entice the ladies. It's just kind of makes you look like a sloppy fucker.
It just makes you look like a complete poser who somehow can't even buy fashion.
Now, is the tie supposed to overlap the buckle or just meet it?
It's the I'm going off of uniform regulations within the military, which the one thing the military knows how to do, particularly the Marine Corps, is dress its soldiers. The tip of the tie should land within the square of the belt buckle.
That's good.
That's
because
good.
It should overlap, because otherwise it creates a tangent, which makes like a point of tension that you don't want to.
Exactly. And if it goes too long, it looks like a fucking clown tie. If it's too short, again, which seemed to be the fashion, that's how they were wearing them in Citizen Kane, is their ties came down to like their sternum.
Yeah.
But again, if it's too short, it looks like a clown tie.
You might as well just have a bow tie that spins around,
Yeah.
a la Pee Wee Herman.
So Sephiroth was here. That's
Aeris.
kind of... Oh, yeah.
Derp.
Those tiny eyes. Look at Tifa. Her complete model is just disintegrating.
I'm still hot though. Oh man, when Sephiroth comes to town and just stabs people and leaves his sword around because he's like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pick it up later. Maybe. I don't need it. I'm just saying. It's more for show.
You know, I'm not even Sephiroth. I'm just some person with Genova cells whom Sephiroth has taken control of and shaped into his image and somehow gotten this sword, so, whatevs.
Yeah, I'm still in a crystal. I'm still there. Does that blow your mind? Because that's what's going on. Cloud's like, I can't fucking deal with this shit right now.
Am I real? No.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta get out of here. Let go of me.
His body's split in half again. They made him so fat that they can't animate him in any way that his body doesn't disintegrate.
His body is to video games what, like, Canadians' heads are to South Park.
In South Park? Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait till Cloud gets on his sweet motorbike.
That's coming up in a minute. Oh, I keep forgetting that there's an app for Final Fantasy VII where it's just the snowboarding.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
if it's still available, but damn.
They should make a infinite runner that's fucking Cloud on a motorbike.
God damn it, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be real good.
Like, all you need to do is reskin an infinite runner with IP of your choice, and then you make the money.
And then you can slash left and right, and just, that's it.
Yeah.
You can move left and right, you can slash left and right.
I'm really surprised we don't have a Crash Bandicoot infinite runner.
That blows my mind.
Doesn't it blow your mind?
Every fucking day.
Yeah.
If
they're actually remaking the first 3 games from the ground up, and regardless of their final quality, which we'll see in about a month and a half, that Activision, of all companies, hasn't just gone, you know what, Crash Bandicoot Infinite Runner, fuck it!
Like,
fuck it!
I would be happy to have that as long as it was good.
Yeah.
When I played Temple Run for the first time, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Crash Bandicoot. Like, I could
they had
really
those
see
great
this happening.
Yeah, they had those great temple-themed levels. which are always some of the most nefarious in the series, but like it would fit squarely. It could even just be Temple Run with fucking Crash in place of the just nondescript human.
You would move left and right, you would jump, and you could spin. And that's all you would need.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where's it at? Make it good.
Hey, there's 5 of us up here and 1 of you, right? Yeah? Why don't we just murder you?
We're gonna stab you in the dick now.
We're gonna bludgeon you, shoot you, stab you, maul you, and then punch you a bunch.
But only one of you uses a sword. Yeah, we're still gonna stab you in the dick, though.
The sword is big enough for the 5 of us. Look at it. Alright, I guess we'll just leave now when there's no reason to leave now. Whatever.